everyone. Tonight, I want you guys to think about a time in your past when you've praised someone or you've criticized someone. Oftentimes, when we're trying to criticize someone, we do it ineffectively. Oftentimes, we focus on the negative with no solution in mind. We focus solely on the things that went wrong and don't identify any of the ways that they can fix it and do better. Same goes with praise. Oftentimes, we give simple throwaway praises such as way to go or good job. Those types of praises do not allow them to identify what went well so that they can replicate them in the future and create winning streaks. My name is Corey House. I recently took a class on resiliency where I learned the skills of effective praise and effective criticism. I'm going to be going over these skills with you tonight. Hopefully you'll be able to find a time in the future where you'll be able to use these skills. Before we can focus on the positive, we're going to focus on negative. According to Lisa Meredith in the book Promoting Psychological Resiliency in the U.S. Military, it is better to focus on solving the problems first. According to studies from Karen Rubich, effective criticism focuses on the process, the strategy, and the behavior that led to that negative outcome and how can you fix that negative outcome. Oftentimes when criticizing, we end up being ineffective. We have a negative focus. When we focus on the negative, we aren't focusing on fixing it. We are solely focused on what went wrong with no solution in mind. Throughout my career in the military, I've dealt with a lot of leaders, some of which have been toxic due to their negative criticism. The toxic leaders have been quick to criticize and identify the things that you did wrong. However, they have no solution in mind and are just trying to call you out on what went wrong. Effective criticism focuses on the problem and the solution. When using effective criticism, you want to be specific as to what went wrong and why it went wrong, and you want to have a positive intent and a solution in mind. If you're specific as to what went wrong, they can identify it and fix it next time. If you have a positive intent and a solution in mind, you can help them fix those issues, criticizing them effectively to create a better outcome. Now that we focus on the negative, we're going to focus on the positive, focusing on what went well and how we can keep those things going well. Effective praise focuses on the specific strategy, effort, or skill that led to that positive outcome and how can we replicate it. Oftentimes, when praising, we use ineffective praise. Like I said earlier, oftentimes we use throwaway praises, such as way to go or good job. While the intent is good, the execution is bad. You're trying to praise them, however, you're not being specific as to what they did well. Therefore, they can't identify the things they did different and replicate it to create those winning streaks in the future. Effective praise, according to Carol Dweck, shows that you're being specific, authentic, and shows that you are truly watching. If you are specific with your praises, they are able to identify what they did well so that they can use that and replicate it in the future to create those positive outcomes. If you're authentic with what you say, you're being honest. You don't want to be their cheerleader. You don't want to focus solely on just making them feel good. You want to focus on what actually went well so that they can use that and replicate it in the future. If you're authentic and you're specific, that shows that you're truly watching as you're detailed with what they did well so they can use that in the future. This all incorporated together creates those winning streaks that you're aiming for with your effective criticism. When using effective praise, you want to try to tie it to their core values and their core beliefs. This allows them to feel autonomous motivation. According to the American Council on Exercise, autonomous motivation is when a person feels they're acting out of their own free will. If you can identify the praise and tie it into their values and beliefs, they will buy into it more, being able to replicate it in the future and hopefully use it in the future to continue to have those positive outcomes and create those winning streaks. I hope that going over these tonight, you've thought of a time in the future when you'll be able to hopefully use effective praise or effective criticism. Whether you're a leader and you're going to be using it with your subordinates, or if you're going to be a teacher using it with your students, or a coach using it with your students. Hopefully in the future you'll be able to use effective praise to identify what went right and create those winning streaks, or use effective criticism to identify what went wrong but solve the problem with a solution in mind and a positive intent.